Have you ever read a love story that felt more like a ghost story? A tale where passion is so fierce it burns everything down. Welcome to Wuthering Heights, one of the most famous and haunting Gothic novels in English literature. Written by the brilliant Emily Bronte in 1847, this is not your typical Victorian romance. It's a raw, dark, and psychologically intense saga of love, obsession, revenge, and tragedy. Forget everything you think you know about 19th century love stories. Today, we're diving deep into the wild moors of Yorkshire to explore the full story. Its unforgettable characters, powerful themes, and lasting significance. So stay tuned. To truly understand Wuthering Heights, we have to start with its author, Emily Bronte. Born in 1818, she was one of three literary sisters who grew up in the remote village of Hearth, right on the edge of the rugged Yorkshire moors. This wild, untamed landscape wasn't just her home. It became a powerful character in her novel, mirroring the stormy passions of its protagonists. When she first published Wuthering Heights, she used the male pseudonym Ellis Bell, a common practice for female writers at the time. Victorian readers were absolutely shocked. They were used to novels that upheld morality and strict social norms. Instead, they got a book filled with darkness, violence, and emotions so intense they felt dangerous. The book's structure is also unconventional. It's a story told within a story, mainly narrated by the housekeeper Nellie Dean, to a visitor named Lockwood, who then pieces it all together for us. This nested narrative creates a sense of mystery and distance, making us feel like we're uncovering a dark, buried secret, one layer at a time. The story kicks off when a man named Lockwood rents a manor called Thrushcross Grange. He decides to visit his landlord, who lives at a nearby estate called Wuthering Heights. The place is gloomy, windswept, and frankly, a bit spooky. There, he meets the owner, Heathcliff, a dark, brooding, and deeply mysterious man who seems to hate the world. After a strange and uncomfortable visit, Lockwood gets stuck at the Heights overnight due to a snowstorm. He's shown to an old bedroom, where he discovers the diary of a young woman named Catherine Earnshaw and has a terrifying nightmare about her ghost trying to get in through the window. Shaken, Lockwood returns to his own home and asks his housekeeper Nellie Dean to tell him the story of this strange family. And so, our real story begins. Nellie takes us back in time. It all started when Mr. Earnshaw, the original owner of Wuthering Heights, returned from a trip with a dirty, ragged orphan boy he found on the streets of Liverpool. T names him Heathcliff and raises him alongside his own two children, Hindley and Catherine. Hindley, the son and heir, immediately hates Heathcliff and sees him as a rival. But his sister, Catherine, forms an inseparable bond with the boy. They are wild spirits, spending their days roaming the moors, their souls seemingly intertwined. They are more than friends, more than siblings, they are two halves of the same whole. But their perfect world is shattered when Mr. Earnshaw dies. Hindley inherits Wuthering Heights and, consumed by jealousy, he abuses Heathcliff, reducing him to the status of a common servant. Despite this cruelty, Heathcliff and Catherine's bond only deepens into a passionate, all-consuming love. But this is where the tragedy truly begins. One day, Catherine has an accident and is forced to stay at Thrushcross Grange, the home of the wealthy and refined Linton family. She gets a taste of high society, and it changes her. She becomes torn between her wild, profound love for Heathcliff and the security and social status that a marriage to the handsome and gentle Edgar Linton would bring. In a famous, heart-wrenching scene, she confesses to Nellie Dean that she loves Edgar, but her soul belongs to Heathcliff. She says, "My love for Linton is like the foliage in the woods. Time will change it. My love for Heathcliff resembles the eternal rocks beneath." But believing a marriage to Heathcliff would degrade her, she accepts Edgar's proposal. Heathcliff overhears part of this conversation, the part about it degrading her, and, his heart broken, he vanishes from Wuthering Heights without a word, swearing revenge on everyone who wronged him. Years pass. Catherine is married to Edgar and living at Thrushcross Grange, but she's not happy. Then, one day, Heathcliff returns. He's no longer a poor stable boy. He's a wealthy, powerful, and polished gentleman, but his heart is filled with cold fury. His revenge is cold, calculated, and devastating. He starts by winning Wuthering Heights from the now alcoholic and debt-ridden Hindley in a card game. Then, he sets his sights on the Linton family, marrying Edgar's sister Isabella. not for love, but to gain control of their property and inflict pain on them. He torments Isabella, turning her life into a nightmare. His reappearance throws Catherine into turmoil, reigniting her buried passion and creating a destructive love triangle. Heathcliff's revenge is fueled by his obsession and his shattered love for Catherine. The conflict between Heathcliff, Catherine, and Edgar reaches a breaking point. Catherine, pregnant and caught between the two men she loves in different ways, falls gravely ill. Her mind and body waste away. In a final climactic confrontation, Heathcliff sneaks in to see her. They share a raw, desperate embrace, filled with both love and blame. Shortly after, Catherine dies, giving birth to a daughter, also named Catherine, or Cathy for short. Heathcliff is utterly devastated. He begs Catherine's ghost to haunt him, to never leave him, because a world without her is a living hell. His obsession deepens, and he spends the rest of his life haunted by her memory, becoming even more cruel and twisted. He takes custody of Hindley's son Hareton, and raises him as an uneducated brute, just as Hindley did to him. He also schemes to get control of young Cathy, and forces her to marry his own sickly son, Linton Heathcliff, to secure all the family property. The cycle of revenge continues into the next generation. But eventually, after years of tormenting himself and others, Heathcliff's vengeful energy runs out. He begins to see Catherine's ghost everywhere. He stops eating, and, one day, is found dead in Catherine's old room, a strange, joyful smile on his face. He is finally reunited with his love in death. At the end of Nellie's story, Lockwood decides to leave the moors for good. But before he goes, he hears of a peaceful ending. With Heathcliff gone, the dark cloud over Wuthering Heights has lifted. Young Cathy, who inherited her mother's spirit, but also her father's compassion, begins to teach Hareton Earnshaw, the boy Heathcliff brutalized too. They fall in love, breaking the cycle of hatred and revenge that had plagued their families for decades. Their union symbolizes hope and reconciliation, restoring peace to the troubled estate. So who are the key players in this epic drama? First, there's Heathcliff. He's the ultimate Byronic hero, dark, passionate, and vengeful. He is a force of nature, driven by a love so powerful it turns into a destructive obsession. Then we have Catherine Earnshaw. She's free-spirited and wild, but also selfish and torn between her true self and the demands of society. Set 2's. Her choice to marry for status over love is the catalyst for the entire tragedy. Edgar Linton is her husband, a symbol of civilization and refinement, but he's weak compared to Heathcliff's raw power. Hindley Earnshaw is Catherine's brother, whose jealousy and cruelty towards Heathcliff set the stage for revenge. Nellie Dean is our main narrator, the sensible housekeeper who witnessed it all. And finally, we have the next generation, Hareton Earnshaw, Hindley's son, who is rough on the outside, but kind-hearted, and Cathy Linton, Catherine and Edgar's daughter, whose love and compassion ultimately heal the wounds of the past. The novel is packed with powerful themes. The most central one is love and obsession. Heathcliff and Catherine's love isn't gentle or kind. It's a destructive supernatural force. Catherine famously says, "I am Heathcliff," showing how their identities are completely merged. This obsessive love is intertwined with the theme of revenge and hatred. Heathcliff's entire life after Catherine's betrayal is dedicated to a multi-generational plan for revenge, which shows how hatred can poison families for years. Social class is another key theme. The class difference between Heathcliff and Catherine is the primary obstacle to their love. Catherine's decision to marry Edgar for social advancement is a tragic mistake that dooms them all. The novel also powerfully contrasts nature versus civilization. Wuthering Heights represents the wild, passionate, and untamed forces of nature, while Thrushcross Grange represents order, refinement, and civilized society. Finally, themes of death and the supernatural are everywhere. Catherine's ghost haunts Heathcliff, blurring the line between the living and the dead and suggesting that their love transcends even death itself. So what makes Wuthering Heights a literary masterpiece? Its style is truly revolutionary. Bronte uses a complex narrative structure, with stories nested within each other, which was highly innovative for its time. As a Gothic novel, it's filled with supernatural elements, dark, moody landscapes, and intense, heightened emotions. But it's more than just a ghost story. It's one of the first novels to dive deep into the psychology of its characters, exploring the dark side of human nature, obsession, and the devastating effects of cruelty. Bronte uses nature and weather symbolically. The wild storms on the moors perfectly reflect the character's inner turmoil. Its significance cannot be overstated. Wuthering Heights broke away from the traditional Victorian novel and paved the way for modern literature and the psychological novel. It showed that a story could be dark, morally ambiguous, and still be a profound exploration of the human heart. In conclusion, Wuthering Heights is so much more than a story of love and revenge. It's a deep, psychological exploration of passion, obsession, the crushing pressures of society, and the possibility of redemption. With its wild, untamed beauty and unforgettable characters, Emily Bronte's masterpiece remains a timeless and haunting classic that continues to challenge and fascinate readers over 175 years later. In the end, it teaches us that while love can be eternal, unchecked obsession has the power to destroy everything in its path. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this literary deep dive, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more.